Hello, Conquerpreneurs. Welcome to another open house in the Conquer Network where we're celebrating National Women's Small Business Month. And this Conquer class, I am honored to have with us Dr. Tracy. Hey, Dr. Tracy.
Hey, so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for giving us your time. Dr. Tracy is here for part 2 of Conquer Your Branding and Marketing Without Burnout. Many of us entrepreneurs have had the experience of seeing all these different tips and tricks and tools all over social media. And we can kind of get overwhelmed with which one do I do? Which one should I try? Which one works best? Which one doesn't? And sometimes that ends up making you just feel burnt out and you don't do anything at all. Like you just don't show up, but you want your branding to look professional. So one of the reasons I have Dr. Tracy here is not just because she's phenomenal and I've worked with her, but because she is like the OG of YouTube influencers. She was influencing before YouTube influencers probably had a name.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. So she is the person that you would want to go to talk about branding yourself and marketing your business as the co-founder of Flourish Media, which is a $1 million marketing agency. And I don't like to say marketing agency because I feel like you guys do way more.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we really like to position ourselves as the leaders in luxury learning. So it's marketing plus. It's because there's so many moving parts to marketing. It's not just like making a logo or a website. It's understanding all the ins and outs that, are on the back end of that before they ever go on the front end. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are tuning in either live or on the replay, please go ahead and put your business, your name in the chat and your location. You never know where you'll find your next client or your next connection. So go ahead and take it away, Dr. Tracy. We're looking forward to this class.
Okay, if you could let me share my screen so I can get the slides up and running. But hi, everyone. Like you said, I'm Dr. Tracy Timberlake. I did start a YouTube channel about 10 to 11 years ago before anybody was an influencer. And that's really, I have a higher education background. I came from working from a law school. I was an administrator there. And, I had this little side thing called a YouTube channel where I talked about hair products and makeup. And somehow that became a bigger thing that I originally anticipated because nobody was making money on YouTube. We were all on there, like people were making videos about their dancing cats or like their naked babies running around with no diaper. Like it wasn't a money-making thing at all. And then all of a sudden, like around 2012, companies started noticing that there were all these girls and boys and kids and whoever just making these videos. For me, it was like in my bedroom or in my bathroom and people, that's how people were doing it. And they were like, well, people are buying the stuff that they're talking about. And that was really, I would say, the initial entryway into what is now called influencer marketing. So brands would pay me to talk, and they still do, to pay me about talking about, anything. It could be this can of or sparkling water. It could be a lamp, a stapler, in my case, lip gloss and mascara or hair conditioner. And that's pretty much how I got started into personal branding. And so in doing that, I started helping other people use video, the power of video, small businesses to market their businesses and their brands on social media because I had built up a following at that point. And now that's what I get to do, not so much with video, but really the entirety of personal branding when it comes from the brand itself, which is what we focus on at Flourish. And then I have a separate coaching business where I coach people to their first 6 figures or to their first 7 figures, depending on where they are within their entrepreneurial journey. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, walk you through the process. And then I know that there were some questions that came in about funnels, about social media, and about ads. So I will get to those at the end, but I kind of want to show you what it can look like to, get to 6 figures without the burnout. That's really what I want to focus on today. And that's what we're going to do. So who is this actually for? So if you are an entrepreneur and you are taking your genius and you're monetizing it at any stage, especially in the beginning, this is kind of where you want to be. Okay. So we're going to go from inception to execution. And if you haven't hit the 6 figures yet, this is what the goal is. See, a lot of the times people move into the space of entrepreneurship and they're not thinking through, these benchmarks. They're just trying to replace, let's say, a 9-to-5 job. And I go, no, let's actually think beyond replacing a 9-to-5 job. Let's think to the first 6 figures, and then the first $250,000, and then the first $500,000. And then we get to the first 7 figures in our business. All right. So how we do that is we go, what's the big idea? What is the offer? We build out the funnel so that your people can sign up. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. But also focusing on building the platform so that you're not just another nobody. This is this system is the same system that I've been using since I started. And I have walked thousands of people through it in many different ways, whether it was my one-on-one coaching, whether it was in a class or a workshop like this, or a group program. This really is the simplest way to get it done. Have your big idea, map out your offer, build the funnel so that people can sign up. We'll talk about that. And then building the platform around it so that you're not just another nobody, because it is not sexy to build a business and to have so many amazing things, even having the best pictures, the best website, the best classes, and nobody signs up for it because nobody knows you. So Mondays are fine. It's your life that sucks. This is one of the quotes that I heard when I first started my business, and I was still in my 9-to-5 job at this time. And I was like, you know what? This is true. And it's not that my life sucked. And for many of you, it's not that your life sucks. It's just fine, right? And we don't want a just fine life. We're actually wanting to build to something a lot bigger than that. But, the thing that causes the most burnout is in the online space, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle. There's a lot of confusion. People get stuck in the nuances of like, do I do this or do I do that? Do I launch this class or do I launch that class? Do I do a webinar or do I do a challenge? Do I do Instagram ads or do I do YouTube ads? Should I make YouTube videos or should I go, there's so many different things. I recently posted an Instagram reel where I said, listen, everything works, guys. Like, you're on the internet and you're going to see people who are like, webinars are dead, don't do them. And then you're going to see the next ad that says, the only way to get people to sign up is to do webinars. Webinars are not dead. Some people are going to say, email marketing, don't do email marketing again, focus on TikTok videos. And some people are going to say, no, email marketing is still alive. Here's how we revamp your email list. You're going to get every single iteration of option because everything works. It's really just about where you want to put your focus. So when we talk about building out your funnel, when we talk about building your business or branding without the burnout, that really needs to come from you first. You need to set an intention of clarity. Your clarity will make you a lot of money, because from your clarity, you can then begin to commit to what it is you're doing. So for example, and let me walk you through this, and we only have 20 minutes or so left. So I'm not going to go through every single part of this training, but I do want to walk through this right here. Okay. So this is a product suite staircase. This is what I teach. I tell people you need to have every single one of these items, right? Will you have them all at the same time? No. Will you be launching them at the same time? No. But the reason why I say we need to have all of these is because when you are on the internet, right? Or when you are speaking on a stage, or if you are an author, or you're doing an invitation to speak just like this, you will have many different people come into your experience at many different levels. So having multiple options allows for you, because one of the things that causes burnout is, oh, I don't want to leave anybody behind. So there's all of this tension around, well, if I only have a group program, but I don't have anything else, then not everybody's going to be able to sign up for that. What do I do with the other people? Well, if you have a product suite, it allows for you to have focuses, whether you do them throughout the year or whether you do them over the course of 3 years, right? So everything doesn't have to be going on at one time. But I always recommend having a high-end option, that's your one-on-one, having a small group, hybrid group program, having a self-study that people can purchase at any time and go through your trainings and your teachings, having a tripwire. What is a tripwire? A tripwire is something that trips the wire. It's the first dollar anyone spends with you is the hardest dollar to make. Right. So if you can get somebody into, let's say, a $30 training, a $40 training, and they get a big result from just that small little training, it's highly likely, and statistics have shown this, you can take a look at kind of what the statistics are around having tripwire offers. The lifespan of a client that spends, under $97 with you, the lifespan of that client will be an average of $1,800 over a period of time, because now they have trusted you, right? So having a lot of these things helps with the burnout, because then you're not trying to always, like, you don't feel bad when you're talking to somebody and there's nothing, like, they're not ready to invest in a one-on-one option, they're not ready to invest in a hybrid program, those might be a little bit too high, so then you lead them to something else. You're still making money. You can have things, by the way, if you have a self-study program, if you have a tripwire option or a hybrid group program that you have evergreen, you're not burning out on those things. Because if you have something that's evergreen, that's constantly going, you have the right funnels that are leading to the right people that are enrolling the right clients into those products and programs, you're making money every single day. If you are not making money in your business every single day, if you do not get a PayPal notification, if you're not getting, a Stripe, somebody signed up for your program every single day, I like to say that something is wrong. Because in this digital economy, there is simply no reason why we should not be making money every single day. And when you know that money is coming in every single day, you know what you're going to experience less of? Burnout. Because then you're not going to be hustling to try and get clients. You're not going to be in this feast famine mode. Your mindset isn't going to be stuck on, well, I don't have the money, or how am I, right? Because you actually have these products that are working for you in the background. It's not just these, by the way. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that you can make money. Like if you have a book, right? I count a book as like a tripwire program, or maybe even a self-study, depending on how you write the book. But the point is that having all of these options, right, allows for you to free up more of your time. And I know that Vivian came in and she talked about, being able to live and not work in your business all the time, because this is a core value of ours. Like, I tell people this all the time. I do not wake up with an alarm clock. Number one, for brainwave reasons, I don't. Like, if you do the studies on brainwaves, I like to wake up and not be like violently alarmed by an alarm clock in the morning. People think that that's so strange. And I'm like, I've never used an alarm clock though. Like, I just tell myself what time to wake up, and then I wake up. If I have a 6 a.m. flight, my body will just naturally wake up when it's time. It's an intention that I set. I've worked really hard over the last 10 years or so to get my mind-body connection to work, but I like to ease into my morning, right? I like to wake up, roll around. This morning was so annoying because I'll stop sharing for a second. This morning, there was like construction, like a jackhammer that was going on behind my house. And I'm like, what is this? Like, this is not how I want to wake up in the morning, right? Because that's not how I usually wake up. I like to ease into my day. And so I highly recommend giving yourself the option to do that. If you can't do it every day, maybe you start on Saturdays and Sundays, right? If you have to wake up every morning at 5:30 because you have to take your kids to school or something, totally understand that. And you're just not used to waking yourself up. Maybe just try it. But my point is that, in the process of building a business, sometimes the mindset around this, and I'm very heavy on mindset. I'm actually a mindset coach. This is mostly what people pay me for, is to teach them the right mindset. But the mindset around building a business, it always baffles me, because people think that hustle is the right way to go. Like, people think like, oh, I'm going to be so busy. Oh, I have to hustle. Oh, I have to struggle. And I'm saying, like, listen, struggling is an option. Okay. I've never actually struggled in my business. I started in 2016. January 1st was day one of my business. January 2nd, I had my very first client. I had made $8,000 the month of February of 2016, and I was still in my 9-to-5 job at this time. And then by May, I quit my 9-to-5 job to be full-time in my business because I was making so much money. It didn't make sense for me to stay at my job at that point, right? And 8 months in, I was already well over the 6-figure mark. But that's because I went into it with a mindset of like, this is going to work, and I get to choose the terms and conditions around how I want it to work. And that's what I want you to think through. And this is why having something like a product suite allows for you to think through your terms and conditions. Where do you want to put most of your focus in this season? Do you want to do more one-on-one? Do you want to focus on a group program or a hybrid? Do you want to launch your self-study program? Right? You can focus on one, but having all of them allows the burnout to be significantly less along the way. Let's talk about your path to profit, because I actually want to get to the questions that were actually asked. And if I can find those questions, they were in there somewhere. The questions that were asked, right, were around, I thought I had this in here and I can't seem to find it. Okay, it was around funnels, it was around social media, and then it was around Facebook ads. So I want to make sure that I get that in the time that we have left. So let's talk about the funnel strategy. What do we know about a funnel? I don't like to use the word funnel necessarily. I like to use the term path to profit, because it's not always, when we think of a funnel, we've seen this graphic, right, of this like triangle situation, and it's not always as cookie cutter as this triangle, but ideally we're wanting to find the path to profit. So when you think about this funnel, right, I want you to think about the funnel as if every single step in that funnel is a way for you to make money. Because normally what happens is in the top tier, right, at the very top of that, they're like, okay, that's your marketing strategy. That's your social media. And I'm like, if you're using social media, you should be making money there. If you have a tripwire product, right, something that is less than $97, that's where you want your tripwire to be, because you don't want people to overthink purchasing it, right? At anything under $100, no one's going to have to ask their husband or their wife, can I spend this? Like, it's a no-brainer kind of offer. Okay. So let's keep the tripwire in that space. From the tripwire, then you lead somebody into the next step where you can make more money, because now you can enroll them into a self-study course, or now you can get them on the phone and enroll them in your one-on-one program, right? So your funnels, you need to look at your funnels as if every single step is a way for you to make money. But the funnel does begin on social media, right? The digital economy is you can do a lot of things with the funnel. You can start in person and networking events, for sure. But I'm an introvert, first of all. I like to be at my house. I like to not talk to, and I don't want to be out and about all the time, right? That's Vivian. So Vivian, we are the exact opposite. Vivian is very much like, I love an event. She will, anytime I get invited to something, I pass it on to her if I do not have to go. Do I question? I don't know what that is in the chat. But it's okay. I'm going to keep talking until I actually see a question. All right. So when you're looking at social media, this is very important. If nobody knows you, they're not buying from you. I just putting that out there right now. Like, your first clients and customers will probably be some of your friends, but at the end of the day, like, unless you have millions and millions of friends on social media, it's not going to be enough to have a sustainable business. So we need to use social media to our advantage. You need to make sure that you're putting out the right content. I'm going to give you 3 types of posts that, so when I enroll a client into my one-on-one program, we do what I call a 5 to 7 day ROI strategy. I like for my clients to make their money back, like they're going to invest with me, and I like them to make that money back in the first 7 days. This works 90% of the time. I've only had, out of all the clients that I've worked, like 10% of them, it doesn't work in the first 7 days, but it might work in the first 30 days, right? So, this is a 5 to 7 day ROI strategy. Here are the posts that I want you to post. Number 1, you are going to post your story. Like, you need to give them your story, your aha, your eureka moment, how you came to the place where you are. Because if all you ever do is go on social media and start promoting things, that's not going to work. Like, no one wants to sign up for something if they don't know why you're doing it. They don't know how you came to it. They don't know anything about you, right? Because there's so many people on social. People want to learn from people that they like. They want to buy from people that they like. They want to be able to relate to people that they like. And so when you're posting your story, automatically that is going to attract people that relate to that story. And most of the time when we're starting businesses, especially as entrepreneurs, our businesses are built on things that we're passionate about, and to some degree, right? I have clients who have built businesses on, I'm going to teach women how to use the phases of the moon to track their cycle. That's awesome. I love that for you, right? And so she was able to build a business. She launched an entire 6-week program doing that, and I think made $48,000 in that launch. And you would think it's insane. It doesn't make sense, but people actually want it. And she used her story, and things that she was diagnosed with to be able to talk about it. And that's how she attracted the right people. So that's the first one, is like your transformation story. The next post that I really want you to focus on is going to be like your mission post, like your mission statement, but in the form of a post. So who are you out to serve, and what do you help them do? That it's a very simple way to say, hey, here's what I do, and here's how I help people. And now I want to help you. Because anybody who's in the category that you are talking about is automatically going to be like, well, I want that too. Like, yes, I'm in that space, and I need some help in that area. So you're going to do that. And then the third post that I want to make sure that you are posting is going to be like a client testimonial, right? And if you don't have any clients yet, you don't have to use clients. You can use quotes from other people. It's funny because people often say like, oh, I don't have any clients, like, or I've never had any clients. How can I post testimonials? And I say, well, when I first started my business, I also didn't have any clients. So you know what I did? I contacted my pastor, my best friend, my cousin, another really good friend of mine. And I said, hey, here's what I'm doing. I'm starting a business and here's what I'm going to teach people. Why do you think I'd be good at this? And every single one of them replied back, because I sent this in an email. Every single one of them replied back with replied with a paragraph, and I just took those paragraphs and used them as testimonials, because these are people that I knew, like, and that knew me and that had worked with me in some capacity. So it wasn't a dishonest way to get a testimonial. It was more of like an expert level testimonial. Like, these are people who are good at what they do. My pastor is a pastor, and my best friend, she was a therapist, and then another friend of mine was a social worker, and then my cousin worked for the government. And so they knew what I did, and I've helped them out in some capacity in different ways with regards to monetization, monetizing themselves, building things. And so if I didn't have anybody who could give me a testimonial, I simply asked people that knew me so that they could give me an expert level testimonial. And then I used that until I got my first clients, right? Or until I got more clients. So don't feel like, oh, I've never had any clients before, I can't post any testimonials. You can't. You just have to find people who know you well enough to be able to speak into your gifting, what it is you're good at, and then you go onto Canva, create a little graphic, and then you post that, okay? So that's the third post. Now, if you are doing this right, and I call it a 3x3 matrix, where you're kind of like doing this over and over again over the course of a week, but in different ways. So you would have 2 testimonial posts, 2 transformation posts of yourself, and then 2 mission type posts. When you do that, you get inquiries. And if you've done the funnel right, like if you actually have the ladder correct, and you have the one-on-one offer, the group program, or the self-study course, when you have that, then you can have conversations with these people, whether it's you invite them on a phone call or you do whatever the case is. You can then invite them, and now you're receiving ROI for just posting for essentially 5 to 7 days, right? But that's how we begin to use the social media funnel. Now, of course, it gets more intricate than that. We move into other kinds of posts, lifestyle posts, relatability posts, actual, promotion posts, and we move into all that. But the first 7-day cycle, you can just do that and make a great amount of money. A much more sophisticated model of using social media, of course, is going to be ads. And I know a lot of people had questions about ads. Personally, and I can say this with all integrity, I have spent everywhere from, let's say, $5,000 on ads on a launch, to the biggest launch I've ever done. I spent $90,000 on Facebook ads. And a lot of the time people are like, oh, Facebook ads don't work. And I'm like, Facebook ads always work for me. I don't know what these people are talking about, because Facebook ads work. That $90,000, by the way, that I spent on Facebook ads, my return on that investment was $500,000. So if I know that I'm spending $90,000 and I am making, and I know this, I didn't know this at the time. I met with my accountant last week, and I hate meeting with my accountant because I feel like she's going to judge me. I'm like, dang, I hate this meeting. Like, I hate going to this meeting. She's going to judge me. She's going to tell me that, I go to Target too often. And like, she's literally like, oh, well, I know where you eat Chick-fil-A half the time, so because she sees all my books. But my point is that, if I know that I'm spending $90,000 on Facebook ads, and you have to do them the right way. This is a rule. I need everybody to write this down. If you're watching this in the replay, or if you're watching it live, never boost a post. Never, ever boost a post. If you're boosting the post, you're wasting your money. Boosting a post, wasting your money, because boosting posts, that's what they want you to do. 98% of Facebook's revenue comes from their advertising, right? So they want people, who are just getting started with their little businesses to boost their posts for like $5 or $10. Now, there are 2 billion people who are using Facebook. So imagine if half of those people are spending $5 boosting posts. You're not really getting an ROI on that $5, but you feel like, oh, well, it's only $5. I can spend that, right? But no, I want you to do it the right way. So you need to go on the back end. So let me actually, can I pull up my Facebook Ads Manager? If you go to business.facebook.com, business.facebook.com, whose account is this? This is my account. Business, that's where you want to begin to build your post. So let me try and I am going to, let me see. Let me open this. Yes, Is this what I want? Okay, let me kind of show you the back end, just to get people to see what the back end looks like. Because Facebook actually has the most sophisticated and the most well-performing, I would say, advertising right now, but every year it gets more and more expensive. But it is, in fact, so sophisticated. So you have to use this thing. It's called, the business manager. So you're in the back end, and this is what it needs to look like. And so you can actually see, I don't know how much you can see here because I usually can't see here, but how much money, actually goes into my ads. You can actually see them because here they are. And so what you're doing is you are telling Facebook, and I'll show you because let's say I'll use this. So I'll use this, my warm traffic, right? You can tell Facebook who you want it. Like, this is Facebook and Instagram, by the way. You can tell Facebook and Instagram, like, who do I want to show this ad to? Okay, who do I want to show this ad to? So just very quickly walking you through this, we only have a few more minutes. This is what the back end looks like. So it's pretty intricate. This graphic is the first thing people see, by the way. Graphic is the first thing. This tagline here, let me get my little pen out here. So this is what they see first. This is what they see second. And so those two things, you need to make sure that those two things are engaging enough for people to want to click on, clear all the drawings, for people to want to click on what comes after that. Okay. So for example, see here. So this is what an ad of mine looks like. I wish that I could show you. Here we go. All right. So the graphic, the title is what you want. I am going to go here. And I have to do this really quickly only because of time's sake. I don't want us to stay longer. All right, in this section here, your audience, this is where you can tell people, you can tell Facebook who you want it to target, right? So for example, for me, I have, between Facebook and Instagram, I have over 140,000 followers and subscribers and things like that. So I'm telling Facebook, I need you to show it to everybody who's engaged with my Facebook page, everybody who's engaged with my Instagram page. Then I say, okay, I have an email list of over 18,000 people. I have a customers list of over 11,000 people. And I said, okay, I need you to show it to all of my previous customers and clients. And then I can also tell Facebook, I also want you to show it to people who are like my clients. This is why it's so important to have an email list. I hope that Vivian talked about that last week. But the reason why I tell people have an email list is because when you're using paid advertising, the best way for you to get the bang out of your buck is you tell the advertising platform to find people who are like the people on your already existing list. Right? Because yeah, I could go in here and I could type something like Marie Forleo. Please show it to people who like, I don't know if it's going to show it to people who like Marie Forleo, because it's not showing it there, but oh, that's existing audiences. Let's say here, I can tell it to find people who are like Marie Forleo, right? And it's going to maybe pop up. And so it's going to give me Marie Forleo, but those people don't know me. So while I might be using that for Facebook advertising, if they don't know me, they might just scroll along, right? Because it may not be my real and true demographic. The majority of the people that I work with are Black and brown women who are between the ages of 28 and 55, who have high level degrees, who are looking to monetize it, who have probably explored the world of coaching and consulting. And that's who I tell Facebook to actually show those ads to. So using something like the back end where you are so specific, age, gender, people who read Essence magazine, people who are in, the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, people who read the New York Times. You can literally target any of those people, but you have to use the back end. It is a very sophisticated system. And this is something that we get to do for our clients when they're ready for that kind of scaling. But also when it comes to Facebook ads, because oftentimes people, this will be the last question I ask, or I answer, I guess, or talk about before we end here. But a lot of the questions that I get around Facebook ads are like, how much money should I spend, right? And so I say, as much as you can. Like, Facebook ads are not beneficial if you have $100 Facebook ad budget. They're usually not even beneficial if you have, anything less than like a $1,000 Facebook ad budget, because that's enough to get started. But if you want some of those big launches, like those $500,000 launches, $250,000 launches, you're looking at wanting to spend anywhere between $25,000 to $100,000 just to make sure that, but you're going to get it back. That's the thing. You have to have an abundance mindset going into using Facebook ads, because it's scary. You're front loading a lot of those numbers. But just make sure, when you're using Facebook ads, do not boost anything. Go through the back end. hire professionals if you need to, right? Hop into my DMs. We can get you set up. Contact Flourish Media. We can get you set up with this. We have a wonderful Facebook ads team. I do my Facebook ads by myself, or my Facebook ads person, because we do them together. She actually hates it when she does them with me because she's like, stop going in there. But my point is that there's a right way to do it that makes you extremely profitable in a launch, but we want to make sure that it's the right way. So hopefully that addressed the funnel, that addressed social media, and that addressed Facebook ads.
Absolutely. That was amazing. And I know that we have some people here and they may have questions that were answered, but they may have questions that weren't answered. So can you let them know if they were interested in working with you, either working with the Dr. Tracy Timberlake or working with you in Flourish, how they can contact you?
Yeah, absolutely. Just, find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, and shoot me a message, and then we can figure out what is the best way. I will say, just to make it kind of separate, so what I do in my coaching business is I really work on the strategy with you, and then the mindset to get you to where it is you need to be. Flourish is, you usually don't talk to me if you're working with Flourish. Quite frankly, I don't work with the clients, because the graphic designers do, the project managers do, like they're the ones that really focus on working with the clients. Inside of Flourish. So depending on where you are in your business and what you're needing, done for you service, or just the actual coaching to get you started, or get you scaled, then, but shoot me a DM and then we'll figure out what is the best avenue.
I think that's a great way to break it down. So there's the mindset and the strategy, and then there's the implementation.
Correct.
Yes, love it. So thank you so much for being here with us. I hope that this was helpful to you, whether you watch this live or on the replay. Let us know your takeaways, your comments, questions. Maybe there's something else that's going on in your business and you want to have a Conquer class about that. Definitely let us know. So thank you again, Dr. Tracy.
My pleasure.
I look forward to seeing all the things that you have coming up in the future. And you guys keep an eye out. Our next Conquer class that's coming up is going to be with Dr. Josia, and we're going to be talking about how to conquer wellness and weight loss for professionals.
Yay, Dr. JoJo!
As we know, sometimes, people get so busy, they forget about the wellness. So we are all about the wellness in the Conquer Network, conquering mental wealth and business. So thank you for being here again, ladies, and I will see you next time.